Like I said, I always get caught talking on Facebook, but I want to thank you guys for coming to another self-love conversation. Today is Tuesday, October the 13th, and we have an amazing woman, a woman that I've read her story on our blog. If you haven't checked it out, you have to go to imlovingme.net and check out her story, where it is Hilary Jastram, where she had an unexpected diagnosis that really brought light into her life, where she became an entrepreneur. She now has her own business, and she is just sitting here and she's rocking it. What I love about the story, which I want you guys to pay attention to, is all the time we talk about broken pieces. We always talk about what happens in life that throws you a curve and how you deal with it. We actually have a living example of a woman who took her lemons and she made lemonade, right? So so much for being here. I read your story. It was so inspiring. But I just want you to just retell the story for those ladies out there who haven't read it yet, and just let us know your journey.
Well, thank you, Gloria. I'm so excited to be here, and what a wonderful welcome. Oh my goodness. My story is not that different. So, this is what you learn as you go through life and you get older and you hear about everybody has stuff. Okay.
Right.
So, I started off behind the eight ball. I did not have the upbringing, the financial wherewithal, any of that. I had none of it growing up. And it was, I think I moved like 19 times before I was 20. So it was
Mm,
very unstable. And so I decided it'd be great to get married a bunch of times and then have kids out of wedlock and stuff like that. That was just a good decision.
right.
so, so I did that. I was finally getting my life back on track. I was about 30, 32. When I was in my 30s, I finally realized I was smart. My whole life, I didn't think I was smart. So in my
Mhm.
30s, I realized it. I went back to school for marketing and didn't get a chance to finish my degree. I made it all the way through junior year. Then I got a great job because I just threw myself into marketing, but then they wouldn't give me any more money. So I
Mhm.
was like, fine, I'll take the education that I have and I'll move forward with it. I got a fantastic job at a regional furniture company doing everything I always wanted, sitting at my desk and drinking coffee and writing and talking about interior design and going onto the floor and rearranging the furniture and all sorts of fun things. And then I got sick. I got sick in a way that I've never been sick in my life, and you couldn't deny it. There's, I would, I would try to go to work, but I couldn't walk very well.
Right.
Especially when it got super hot, then I couldn't walk at all. I had to like sink to the ground, but I would go to work and I would hold on to people walking down the hallway. Anybody just walking by, I would just grab onto them and say like, "We're going to the cafeteria now."
Yeah.
And I tried really hard to work. And I kept getting worse and worse. And I didn't have a diagnosis for about 5 months. In that time, I was on short term disability. I found out that I have transverse myelitis, which is a sister disease to multiple sclerosis. So, multiple sclerosis, you have the lesions in your brain mainly,
Mhm.
you may have some in your spine. Transverse myelitis is in your spine, with you may have some in your brain. So, it's kind of a flip flop.
Flip.
It's a
Okay.
Yeah, it's a rare disease at last count, and I haven't looked at statistics lately, but only 1,400 people in the US get it annually. And so there's not a lot of help for that. I went through 3 neurologists and all of these things. I lost my job. It was a beautiful parting, though, and I'm very grateful for it because my job, they were human to me.
Right.
They
Right.
weren't just like, you got to go
Oh,
to
you gotta go.
liability. Yeah, see you later.
Right.
So January 1st, 2015, no more short-term disability. I was denied long-term disability. I tried, kind of.
Mhm.
I went to the office and they said, "What do you like to do in your spare time?" And I said, "I like to work and think about work." And they said, "You're denied." And
Oh no.
so it. I didn't want it. You know, I was very, very broken. And we talk about broken and all kinds of different ways of being broken. I was broken. I was severely traumatized from childhood, multiple abandonment issues from key pivotal people in my life. I had a virulent eating disorder that lasted decades and got me down to 93 pounds. My relationships were a disaster because the second that you got close to me, like I turned into a wet Wolverine and like, I will fight you.
Yeah.
So there I was. I'm with my boyfriend because now he's my husband.
Yeah.
And we've been together about 11 years now. But there I was. And all of a sudden, my independence was taken away. I read something recently that said hyper independence is a sign of trauma. So if you're listening to this and that clicks for you, that's exactly why, because you pull away from people and you might say, yeah, I trust you. We're going to go on this life journey together. Then in the back of your head, you're going, but when you screw up, I will be there. So
yeah.
All of a sudden, no, I can't walk. I had vertigo for what was it, 5 months probably. But I also made the lion's share of the income, and I had 2 kids still living at home. One was out, he escaped. And I had to work somehow, some way. So I birthed a business right there. Just, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. But before we get there, I want to know, with all of that was going on, what were you feeling? Because did you feel like, you didn't deserve what happened to you? You did? Like, why did God do this to you? All of the things that we normally go through. Did you have that same kind of mindset?
You know, I think when you've been battered around a lot in life, like a kitten with a yarn ball, that after a while you just kind of go, oh, this is happening now. So I don't know that it was ever a case of why me. I was in shock though, because at one point we didn't know if we were dealing with a spinal tumor. And you can have all the people around you in your life gathering around you, giving you support, loving you. But this is a very dark place to be when it is you and it is God and it is your life and how you've behaved and what you've done, and you're alone. You're alone. Finding out I wasn't dying and that I would actually start to improve. You get to a level, most people with transverse myelitis, a third of them are not affected, a third of them are moderately affected, and a third of them are paralyzed. So massively affected. I was very lucky. I did not get the acute kind that paralyzes in hours. And if you're a child, it can kill you because it will paralyze your nerves and your breathing organs. So I was very lucky when we found that out. I thought, well, first of all, I was ticked. I was like, you know what? I went back to school. I did it. I finally got it together. I'm paying attention, trying to be the best mom I can. I'm working on things, and this happens. And why? Now in retrospect, I can look back and I can say, because you weren't listening. You had to get smacked right upside your head because you weren't listening.
Come on, Hilary.
I know, and you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
You'll have messages. Yeah.
That's right. Talk about it. I'm listening. I'm agreeing with you.
You have the messages. And they come in forms of inklings, or they're flashes of ideas. I should do this. I should do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then you beat yourself down. Oh, I can't do that. I'm a mom. I have bills. It's going to take away from my relationship. I don't have enough money. I don't have a team. I don't have this. I don't have that. And then you go back to your life. And a flash will come again, beat it down again. And guess what? If you're meant to do it, it's going to be taken from you, what you're doing. Because you're going to get a big message then that you can't ignore. You're going to have a billboard put in front of your freaking face. Like, there it is. This is your direction. Did you not see your direction? I've been holding a sign this whole time. You're over there. So I had no choice. And the one thing I've always known how to do is work. When I was 15, I got a job behind my mom's back at a pizza parlor because I just wanted to work. I was like, get me out of this house. I want to work. I want my own money. I want to go be free, and so I've always known how to work, and work has been a huge source of pride for me because I've been able to create something in a life that sometimes didn't feel like it mattered that much.
Right. I love your story because you are preaching what I preach every day,
Yeah.
which is, you know, when God gives you signs, it comes as a pebble. Then all of a sudden it comes as a rock. Then it comes as a boulder, right? But the whole time you have the answer right in front of you, which is you have to just listen and follow that thing in you that keeps nagging you,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine from college, he had multiple sclerosis. And he said, Glow, it was like for me, I was at work. I mean, he was the smartest kid in school, Hilary. Like, I mean, he was like the man, right? He said, Gloria, I went to the bathroom one day and I couldn't get up.
That's what happened to me. That's when I went to the doctor.
Yeah. He
Yes.
said, he said, I did everything and I couldn't get up.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tried, you know, I mean, after a while it happened, but then when I went to the doctor, he said I had MS. And he'd just been married to his wife for like 2 years. So now he got the diagnosis, and now your whole life changes.
Yeah.
Your marriage don't last. You got to move back home.
Mm.
You need somebody to take care of you. And as a man, it was so hard,
Oh,
right? So that's why I asked that question for you, because as a man, it was so hard. But what he did that I loved is that I would call him every day. Is that I would say, "Hey Larry, how you doing? I'm feeling fantastic and I'm blessed. I'm still here." Right? And he would say that every time,
I love it. I love it.
right? And
That's
so I asked him one time, I said, "So, man, Larry, if you could be doing anything, what is it that you would like to do?" And he said, Glow, you know what? He said, all that stuff that we were taught and everything in school, push yourself, do this. He said, I wouldn't even do none of that. He said, I would actually live my life and do everything that makes me happy. I would do everything that makes me happy. He said, because the money doesn't matter anymore.
no,
You know, you
nothing.
see how important life is,
You.
right? But Hillary, you've been there, and like and with our women listening, how do you see life now? Because I always say we always have to hit rock bottom. We have to be broken open to find our vision to do things, right? But what do you see life now? What's important to you now?
First of all, I am incredibly grateful. I am incredibly grateful. It's almost like it's either hell every day or Christmas every day. And a lot of
Mm.
us live on either of those spectrums. And when you get to see both, when you have good days, I am incredibly grateful. So, do I feel like crap probably 70% of the time? Yeah, I do. But you know what? I'd rather get distracted.
Yeah.
I'd rather work. I'd rather see what I'm capable of producing myself. There was a thought in my head when I worked outside the home, um, and I always thought, man, I want to be at home. I want to be at home, and I just had this dream of like having my coffee and just being in charge. And I worked for Best Buy at one point as a contractor, and I worked remotely, and it was great because
Mhm.
you could just do those things. So I was like, I want to do it myself,
Right.
And so I think that's the one God said, okay, are you ready? You
Uh-huh.
said you wanted to do it. So, you know, my perspective now is very different. I had to break open. I
Mm.
had to. It's what I wanted. I had miserable relationships. I was sabotaging horribly everything in my life, out of fear. I was parenting terrified. I was loving terrified. I was afraid of conflict. There are so many things that were wrong. And from being in a situation as a kid where I felt extremely forgotten, I was very, very angry for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like myself. I didn't like it. I didn't like that I was hypersensitive. I didn't like that I couldn't have, with the give and take of a relationship. I didn't like any of that. And so I wanted to fix it. And so I did. I did fix it. Now I'm in the best relationship I've ever had. And I had to stop. I had to stop and prioritize things and say, you know what? You don't like this about yourself. So just like you're starting your business, just like you're healing your relationship with your family, just like you're taking steps with your husband and you're actually fully trusting him, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to keep going. You're going to keep doing these things. You're going to keep showing yourself what you can do. And it is an absolute avalanche of abundance and gifts that the best part is you plan for the gifts, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to do this, right?
Right.
And then you get these gifts you don't even expect, and it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And they're gifts in the form of people loving you and
That's
thinking
right.
about you, and their gifts in the form of you know what, you do matter, and
Yeah.
you can make a difference in the lives of other people, helping them find work, passing on opportunities that are meant for them, and you're supposed to just be the messenger. I mean, there's all kinds of gifts if we just open our eyes.
Look at that. And I'm smiling because I just think that everything you saying is right on time. But look at you now, Hilary. You got a business. You are a boss. You are working. And that's the beauty of all of this. So now you have your business. Tell us what your business is and exactly what you're doing.
So I have two businesses. In my
Mm-hmm.
first business, I started a digital marketing company, and I started that back in January of 2015, just whoop, out of thin air.
Right.
And it kept growing. And then now the crux of that business really began in 2016 when I developed my editing house for books to help authors get their books out there. So that's called Bookmark, and I help authors to self-publish. It's a different business model that enables people to actually be able to afford to publish their books,
Right.
instead of, it's kind of a la carte in a way. You can do this. You don't need these services. And I get
Right.
very honest with people about that. And I'm doing what I can also to change the perception of marketing agencies today, which a lot of them are popping up all over the place with people who don't understand the fundamentals behind them, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm classically trained in them. But I also am not going to recommend that you buy the whole kit and caboodle when you don't need it. So
Right.
I'm very interested in helping people achieve their dreams. So I help people with their messages and tell their stories. And I get lost in fiction, and it's just an amazing reality. I have to pinch myself. My husband comes home every day, and I'm sure he's probably like, is it possible to have a bad day? And I'm like, no, it's not possible. I don't know. Yeah. So that's the first business.
Mm-hmm.
When I got sick, there's a lot of talk now about everybody's chronically ill, everybody has something. Now, that has only recently come more into the forefront over the past several years.
Right.
So there are resources and things of that nature. When I got sick, there was nothing. There was
Mm-hmm.
nothing. So I started a nonprofit called Sick Biz to help people who are chronically ill or disabled, to help them find work, to be able to do this for a living. Because once I found out, you can, I'm actually making more than when I was
Yeah.
at the furniture company. Like if I called them, I could say, you know what, you can't afford me now. And it's amazing because coming from where I came from, to be able to say that and to walk into my own power and empowerment and pass that on and let people know it's not over if you're
That's
sick.
all God, I'm telling you, because that is where you were supposed to be,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And now that you are working in your gift, there's no resistance.
No, no.
Isn't
It's
that amazing though? There
it,
is no resistance. You can be who you are
yes, yes,
and it is okay
it is.
and still get paid good money for it to be
Well,
who you are.
that's what's so crazy. That's what's so crazy. That's what I urge people to do too, is that so often we get in our way. You know, I had a podcast for a while. I'd sit there and I'd feel silly. I'm like, I'm just talking to myself. Oh, this is great. You know, you, you
Yeah,
have to do it. If
right.
you want to keep growing and going and leveraging, you have to do it. You have to start with one listener. You have to start with one reader, one client.
Mhm.
It's it's incredible. And I think what's really helpful for me too is if I looked at if I just got sick and I said, okay, I want to make $50,000 a year, then we reverse engineer that. So what does that mean? What do
Mm,
I need to make a day? What do I need to make this week? Let's
right.
use 5 days and I'm going to make X amount of dollars.
Mhm.
Then you break it down into those chunks. You know, I teach about business coaching in sick biz, and the focus is on you're sick, you're tired, let's get money in the door right now. Once you
Right.
get money in the door right now, oh, okay, I can pay that bill. Now,
Right.
can I go take a nap? Then I'll get up and do it again, you know? Like,
Ooh, that is amazing. And how many members? Is it like a membership or do you just you find what kind of work do you find for them? Do you help them find jobs or do you just give them resources?
I give them resources. If they
Okay.
need help finding jobs, I'm happy to find them. We are resuscitating the job of the day, which we're going to call something else on. But I have a brand new VA who's changing my life this week. So
Mhm.
I'm just like, oh, I'm so thankful. I can't even tell you.
Right.
So we're going to be able to do more, which was the original vision of the company. But it's hard to run a nonprofit and be sick. So
Right.
I know now why I got transverse myelitis, and it's because of Lyme disease.
Mm.
And in addition to that, I have fibromyalgia. So I have all kinds of fun stuff happening. And anybody who's listening, they do have a test now for fibromyalgia, a blood test. It's a brand
Mhm.
new thing. I just had it done. That's something that gives people some validation for how crappy they're feeling, and there's actually a way to physiologically prove that you do have it,
Oh,
which helps people. So, um, yeah,
wow.
yeah,
So let us know your website, how we can get in touch with you,
yes.
and how we can connect with you, like through social media.
So you can find me on Facebook, easy peasy. And my profile's public, so I accept friends all over the place. My websites are jhill with two L's, jhillmark.com, and sickbiz.com is probably the easiest way. sickbiz.com is where you can find me. I'm out
Mm.
there.
So my last question for you is, we know what you saw then, but when you look at yourself in the mirror now, what do you see?
um, I see somebody who can do anything she wants.
Mm.
That's it. I mean, it's been there the whole time. And if you come from a place where you hear over and over again that you're not that important or you're ignored, um, it's hard to believe that. But what is an amazing thing to do is, if you're in that place, is to give yourself one little win, just one little win, because then you can tell yourself, look, I did it. Then you can do it again, because it leads to another win and another win. And it's not until you see the power that you have that something changes inside you and
Mm.
you become different. There's also this watershed, blissful moment of relief, of letting go of control, and of just being you, that is a tremendous blessing to have. And I wish it on every single woman out there. Also, don't be afraid to be in your 40s, because man, I love my 40s.
Me
I've
too,
never,
girl.
right?
Mhm.
I was like, who was that skittish creature before? What are you doing?
Man, thank you so much for being here, Hilary. You have really like shed some light on a whole bunch of things because like I said, you are truly a living example of what it means to be broken open but find your vision and take it and run with it,
Well,
you
thank you.
know, and I love that. And I
Thank
thank you. And we're going to have you back again because I think your story is so amazing that, you know, we want to be able to share it so that people can actually, you can actually hear the other stories of the women
Yes.
and you can offer some of your encouragement. I think they will love that.
Oh, I would be so honored, Gloria. Thank you so much. I was so excited,
Absolutely.
so excited to talk to you today.
Absolutely.
I love what you're doing. I love your messages. That the instant I saw your blog, I was like, oh, she gets it. She gets it. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming, okay? And you enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too.
All
Okay.
right. Bye.
Bye.